One of the first things that my ex said after we broke up is that I had always hated her. Truth is, I could not hate anyone. It is physically impossible for me to feel that way about someone, to feel so strong and viscerally angry and hateful and spiteful about a person, as the word hate implies. I do not have that in me, but I do have an overwhelming capacity to love. It may be like an attachment issue, it may be something that I've internalized growing up, but when I receive any amount of kindness, or credence, or grace, or consideration, or anything of that nature, I cannot help but return it tenfold. In fact, I'll try to initiate it sometimes, but it means so much more to me when someone extends that out to begin with. Because again, I am so introverted. I stick to myself, and it's hard for me to confidently approach other people, which I'm working on, which this is work on for that. But it just means so much more when someone else gets over the things that I'm struggling with, over the boundaries that I'm facing, to deliver any amount of kindness to me. That is astronomical to me. And just those kinds of acts of kindness are so dramatically magnified. It's just such an amazing feeling, and it is a part of the reason that I love being human. It's because there are so many people around me who can make me feel that way, and I can potentially make feel that way. I want people to feel joy and inspiration from my presence and the things that I put out in this world, because the things that make me happiest are inspiration and joy and doing what you love. I don't know if any of you guys watch One Piece, but and this might be the smallest bit of a spoiler, but throughout the show, obviously, Monkey D. Luffy wants to become king of the pirates. That is his whole thing. But you don't always see why, and as the live-action actor for Luffy pointed out, you don't really see a lot of thought bubbles throughout the manga. You know, you don't see into Luffy's head, per se. But it turns out, halfway through the series, when he gets a pretty big chance at getting a hint towards what the One Piece is, or if it's even real, he rejects it, and he says, I don't want to become king of the pirates, to have all this treasure, or to rule all this land. I want to find the One Piece and become king of the pirates, so that I can be the freest man alive. And that has seriously resonated with me, because all my life I've lived under other people's constraints. I've lived under a school's constraints. I've lived under my parents' constraints. And at the end of the day, I just want to live the freest, most joyful life possible. I think that is human purpose. I think so many people are struggling to understand what their place in the world is and what their impact is going to be. Especially people my age. Especially Gen Z, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds they're getting degrees, they're getting introduced to the new world for the first time, and it is so big and filled with opportunities and things to do. And you kind of sit there with analysis paralysis, or not even that, just I am so small in comparison to all this. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna be cracked or academically excelling or excelling in the job market? How am I gonna make an impact? Those are the big things that people face. Purpose, universal purpose. But really, I think the most beautiful purpose is to enjoy living. And that can be so different for different people. But as long as you're looking for joy and trying to find it in every way, you're gonna be okay. Because you're gonna find the things that you like and you're gonna stick to it. And you're gonna enrich your life because of it. One of my friends recently brought up concerns about dying. He's also 18 and mortality has him stun locked. It is pretty scary knowing that one day you're gonna leave it all, right? But the way that I think about it is, even if we were to die tomorrow, I would not feel guilty about the life I did not get to live. Because death can happen in so many ways. If I did something stupid, I'll be kicking myself in the afterlife, or whatever happens next, right? But if it just happens to me, and there's nothing else to do about it, I'm not gonna be ashamed that I didn't live my life. But I'm gonna more focus on what I did, or what I tried to do with my life. Because there was always a future that I was working towards. I don't think we should be living every day like it's our last, because, that gets kind of weird. But we should be living every day like we're building the life that we want for ourselves, that we're building the tomorrow that we want for ourselves today. And we're living it to the fullest. That is so important, to have that joy and to have that love for what you're doing. As long as you're looking for it, as long as you're reaching out and in search of it, you're going to be okay. This is why I cannot have an ounce of hate in my heart. I can be spiteful, I can be petty or disgusted or angry, but I could never hate someone. I could never turn away from a real human being. Every single person out there is living their version of the story that you're living. They have their own friends and family and problems and issues. You can't hate someone for having that experience. You can hate someone for doing something horrible, like, I don't know, like genocide or something. That's, that one's hate worthy. Yeah, I wouldn't judge. But otherwise, there's nothing to criticize so harshly about someone else that you have not already experienced or have seen in some kind of way. Instead of hating people, instead of building animosity, building like pent-up feelings, go tell someone that you love them every day. And there are studies about this, like real neuroscience studies about gratitude. But genuinely, go tell someone how you feel about them. And you can say, hey, I don't like your guts. You can say, hey, I don't like the thing you did yesterday. Or you can say, hey, I love your hair. I love your smile. Tell someone how you feel about them. Because that means so much. It can be negative, it can be positive, but honesty, genuinely, is the most sincere form of love. And I think right now we all need to be loving each other a little more. If you're my age, if you're 18, 19, around that area, I think this is the most important thing that we all need to learn. Because we're all going to be soon making the laws, making the medicines, running the countries. And if we can't solve a couple arguments just because we can't look past small differences, just because we can't be honest with each other, we're going to self-destruct. We're going to implode. This is something that I've already explained before, because I've been going through it this semester. And it's okay. I don't mind, because every challenge is just another thing to grow from. But if I could turn every, one-sided argument I've had with a person this semester into a talk, into an actual honest discussion between humans, it would have gone so much better. So again, after you watch this, go tell someone what you think of them, how you feel about them. Don't tell someone else how you feel about a different person. Go tell them directly. That is, again, the sincerest, purest, most valuable form of love. that I think we all have for each other as people that are living, breathing, and feeling. Thank you for watching.